Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah. Today we are going to be talking about, oh yes, some new makeup releases again. There's a few things apart from eyeshadow palettes that I want to talk about again, but eyeshadow palettes are definitely still in the majority here, because you know how I feel about eyeshadow palettes. They are my favorite thing to try and to look out for, so that's why the focus is going to be on that. I hope you like my flowers. I treated myself to some nice flowers yesterday, which I'm very happy with. So I'm going to be putting pictures up on the screen for any of the palettes that I'm featuring here or the products that I want to talk about. I have everything saved to my phone, so let's just get started. First things first, Carly, Bible, and Anastasia. When I recorded my previous video, it had just been released and or it had just been announced, and everybody's going gaga for this. And I have to say that I saw this when I was in New York, and I think it's really boring. I like that there's cool tones. And you know I like cool tones, but then there are a lot of warm tones towards the bottom. I'm not feeling this one, you guys. I really don't. I didn't even swatch it when I was at Sephora. I was like, no. Then there is the Makeup Revolution, I'm not sure what this is called, the Good Vibes collection. And it has an eyeshadow palette, which, do I know what the name of it is? I'm not sure what the name of the actual palette is, but the Revolution, like, cannabis-infused palette. It's apparently like a full line with lipsticks and fixing sprays. I saw this palette when I was at Ulta, and I have to say that it's giving me Melt, Gemini, Smoke Sessions kind of vibe, so I'm very intrigued with this. I haven't seen a Makeup Revolution release in a while that really intrigued me like this, so this is currently on my wish list. I'm not sure if I'll get it. Maybe if I find a good Black Friday deal, I may purchase it, but it's not currently something that I really need to get, I think. Another palette by an indie makeup brand, Max Up the Makeup, is coming out with the Sweater Weather palette. And it's a super pretty fall tone palette, as you can see here, with like those oranges and those greens. I just think that if I leave out the greens, like the two bright pops in the top right corner and in the bottom left corner, then it's a very basic neutral palette. So I don't think this is anything that I really need to add to my collection at this point. It looks pretty, and but at this point I feel like when it comes to like indie makeup releases as well, like there isn't a lot right now that is on my wish list in terms of like things that have just come out that I would like to get. Then there is DD Signature, I think they're called. Yeah, DD Signature is coming out with fruit-inspired palettes, strawberry and orange. These look fun, these look cute, but these aren't really anything that I'm inspired by. And then LA Girl is sort of extending their range of like these square palettes. I still have the Haute Heat, I believe it's called. That's still on my wish list. This is the Fierce and Wild eyeshadow palette. I'm not sure if these have different names as well, but it's like a purpley green one and like an orange and blue one. Again, a lot of neutrals here, so not something that I really need to get. But yeah, if I get the Haute Heat and the quality of that ends up being really nice, then I may be interested in picking up something like this. But for now, it's not up my not on my radar, you could say. Then ColourPop has come out with some new singles again. Again, also when it comes to ColourPop singles, I think I'm good. I really want to get some of those monochromatic palettes. I hope they're doing a Black Friday sale on them so I can get some. And I believe that some of the shades they have now come out with as singles are in some of those monochromatic palettes. So I'm definitely going to hold off of buying some more ColourPop singles, at least for the time being. Another release I spotted when I was in the US is the Disney designer ColourPop collab. I think this is the third or fourth collection that ColourPop has done with Disney, and this is the Midnight Masquerade palette. And while it looks very pretty, I don't really see why I would need to own this, you know? It has some really nice, pretty, like, purpley shades and those blues, so I think it's really pretty, but this just really doesn't capture my attention. I swatched it in store, didn't love it. Then Lunar Beauty has come out with a Halloween collection, the Moon Spell palette and related products. And while this looks really pretty, again, Lunar Beauty is just not a brand I'm really interested in. I don't know exactly why, but Manny MUA has never really been someone I followed a lot, so this is not really something that I'm interested in for that reason to begin with. Seems to have some stunning shimmers, but I'm not sure. Like a lot of these, like there is another palette that has like a bright pink that I am actually interested in, so I may want to get that over something like this, but that's coming up in a minute. Essence is coming out with a new palette as well. They are dropping element related palettes like fire and water. Those could be really nice. I really enjoyed the limited edition collection that Essence released with like together with Essence, the Royal Party palettes. Those were really nice. So yeah, the warm tone with the flames, not really up my street, but this more like water one with teals and blues and a couple of cool tones. If I can find that somewhere, then I might definitely might definitely want to pick that up. Then I'm not sure what this Thebel Cosmetics, or I'm not sure how you pronounce this brand, but they have a really, really big palette. It's called the Dream Book, and it has 63 shades. You know how I feel about large eyeshadow palettes right now. No can do, no can do. It's much too big. Huda Beauty New Nude. If you saw my New York haul, you already know I picked up 2 of these. There's 3 of them in total. There's light, medium, and rich. I picked up light and rich, which may seem a bit weird. The medium one is very warm toned, and you know I don't love my warm tones. The light one is very pretty, and it has a couple of really nice basic shades. I just feel it doesn't have a lot of depth and dimension, which is why I picked up the rich, because those shades are still light enough that they could work on my complexion, but they also pull a little bit deeper. Plus, I think that the 2 combined can really like amp up the look a little bit more, because the rich is a bit more berry toned. So I feel that like the light one is a bit more cooler toned, and then the rich one is more berry toned, and then together that is like my favorite like rosy toned sort of look. So I could already see myself doing lots of different things with that. Swatch them in store. Stunning shimmers, stunning mattes. Yay for Huda Beauty. I love those. Then more Makeup Revolution. I think this is their holiday collection, and it's their Jewels collection. And the picture that I saw has a really nice cool toned palette in the middle. And you know how I feel about Makeup Revolution. A lot of their palettes have a lot of similar shades in them, and I feel that this is the case here as well. Especially the top rows of these, or like some of the bottom rows, there are a lot of shades in the same sort of like color family, which I feel with Makeup Revolution, that usually means things muddy together, or they just look like the same shade on your eye. So these I will not be picking up. We have the Smoke Show by ColourPop. I already mentioned those monochromatic palettes are definitely on my wish list, and if I'm going to get some and this is in stock, I will definitely add it to the list, because those grays with the black, I think it's a really, really clever palette, and this is definitely one that I would like to try. So apart from fire and water, Essence is also doing an air palette. That seems to be very light and with like pinky shades. Not really my cup of tea. That water palette is the one that really, really intrigues me. Then again, Copacetic Cosmetics. I'm not sure if I pronounce this correctly, but they are coming out with the Thin Ice palette. You know how I feel about blues, teals, turquoises, those kind of shades, like greens, like that's my jam. That's what I really like in terms of eyeshadow. So if they ship to the Netherlands, I may pick this up eventually. It looks really nice, but I would have to hear more about this palette before I would like really even remember that it exists and like then figuring out whether I want to put my money towards it. I would definitely have to see people reviewing that before deciding anything. Oh, then we have Nabla. Oh, and this is a video. So Nabla has come out with 6 new highlighters. And you guys, these I think look stunning. They are apparently a Big Chile formula. I love Big Chile highlighters. And Nabla already had some really stunning highlighters in their collection. I wasn't using mine enough, so that's definitely a little bit on the chopping block. But I might want to replace it with one of these because these look stunning. Stunning. Then Gimme Glow Cosmetics is bringing back their Christmas palette from last year. Apparently sold out very quickly. This looks really nice. Those 2 greens on the left side of the palette. Really pretty. And it also has a cool tone brown and like a really nice like tinsel, like thin foil kind of like shade. Looks really pretty, but Gimme Glow Cosmetics has outrageous shipping on their website. It's like a flat rate of like $30 or something like that, making this palette like twice as expensive as it is. So no can do. That's something I'm not really interested in yet. And then ColourPop, of course, what's a month without another ColourPop palette release? They came out with the Birdie collection, I believe it's called, and it has a berry toned eyeshadow palette. Now that I already have the Huda Beauty stuff, I don't feel that this is going to give me anything different from the Huda Beauty palettes I already have. So that's why the Birdie palette I'm going to pass up on, even though it's a color scheme that does appeal to me. Then, Morphe and James Charles, they're coming out with a smaller version of that big palette. I don't care how much smaller it is, you guys, it's still too many shades in a palette. Condense it down, please. Condense it down. I can do 12, 15 shades easily. Any more than that and I go crazy. Then Kristen Lee Cosmetics, which is another indie brand, is coming out with the Autumn Vibes palette. It seems to be like duochromes, multi-chromes that are in that palette, which is really stunning, but I still have a lot of duochromes and multi-chromes to play with, so I don't need anything new for now. Then I think the launch of the moment, and I believe it's already sold out, is the new Tati Beauty line with the Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. And I have to say, I mean, I watched Tati and I have been watching her for years, and I'm glad that she's finally coming out with makeup. Like, the whole Halo Beauty thing, I'm like, I don't believe in that sort of thing. This palette looks really pretty, but again, something I don't really need. I think there are too many warm tones, there are too many shades. Even though I really like the concept, I think it's very clever to go from like different textures and then giving you sort of like different texture in each sort of color that's in there. I think that's very clever, but I would want that in like just release it as quads. Then I would be happy, but this big palette, no, not my cup of tea. Too Faced is coming out with the Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice set. I'm pretty sure that I must have seen it somewhere while I was in the US, but all of those, like really, all of the Too Faced holiday releases, I feel are a bit, it's just, it's almost as if they're stuck in 2016. What do you feel? Like hello, we're closing off a decade here. Like 2019, January 1st, we're in a new decade. Too Faced, please up your game, please. Then there's Baby Bat Beauty coming out with the Nox palette. And I just wanted to talk about this because it's vampire inspired and I love me a good vampire story, you guys. I love vampires. Do I really need a vampire inspired eyeshadow palette with reds that can make you look like a vampire? No, but I think it's cool to release this in like the same time of the year as Halloween is rolling around. I think that's really nice, but this is not something that I need. I just thought it looked really stunning with like the packaging and like the shades. Like, I think it goes very well with like a vampire theme. So in terms of like creativity behind it, really, really cool. I just know I wouldn't use anything like this. And Melt Cosmetics is coming out with 2 palettes for holiday. I believe it's Vida and Muerte, and it's like Mexican inspired. The Vida palette seems to be more like warm tones with like oranges and some reds. And then the Muerte palette is the one that personally really caught my eye. I haven't really seen any really good like pictures of the entire palette yet, but it has greens, blues, and then some like berry toned reds. I have a couple of their stacks, and I'm really taken with Melt Cosmetics formula overall. So I definitely have the Gemini and the Smoke Sessions already on my wish list. Do I need to add this? I think this may be limited edition, so I think I'll be missing out on this one. If it comes to Beauty Bay, and Beauty Bay has a really good Black Friday sale, I may pick it up, but I think in terms of availability, this may be one that's harder for me to get, which is a bit sad, but yeah, I would be interested if I can get it. Urban Decay is coming out with some new On the Run palettes. They're the little versions that sort of work within the Born to Run line, you could say. This is one with like neutrals and greens, and then one with like oranges in there as well. The blue one that they're doing is like, I've been looking and umming and ahhing about that so much, and I think I may want to pick it up, but that totally depends, because I still have a like discount voucher from my local store that carries Urban Decay. If I can put it towards an Urban Decay item, I will, but very often we can't use discount vouchers or codes on Urban Decay products because it's an exclusive brand. So not sure whether that will happen, but yeah, the green and the orange I don't really need, but that blue tealy one is definitely one that I have been umming and ahhing about. Another new Huda Beauty release, the Mercury Retrograde eyeshadow palette just launched, and this is a palette that I look at and I feel that if you cover up those 3 shades at the top right corner, that it's all of a sudden not that interesting anymore. Like, I'm really taken in by the right side of the palette, but then the left side of the palette I feel is like a variation on the little Nude Obsessions palettes that have just come out. Especially those like berry shades at the bottom, I feel are very similar to what's in the Rich palette. Some of those lighter shades seem to be very similar to what's in the Light palette, and I own both of those now. So I don't think I really need this. Plus I think it's also a little bit more expensive than the other palette she does. I think it's like $2 more. Instead of like 65, it's now like 67. She seems to be upping her prices a little bit. But yeah, those greens, man, they are really stunning. This is one of those palettes, if I ever see it in real life, I might be interested. I might be. But if it's truly like limited edition for Christmas this year, no can do. And then we have the BH Cosmetics holiday release, and this I'm very intrigued with. Like I'm not a big fan of BH Cosmetics. I finally tried one of their palettes, but this, you guys, I think it has some really nice shades, neutrals, but that bright pop of pink in the middle, and then those blues on the end, and it seems to have a really nice gray tone as well. This is one that I'm very interested in. It's also called the Fairy Lights eyeshadow palette. Like, ooh, I think this is stunning. So this is definitely one that, again, if it comes to Beauty Bay, I might pick it up, but if it doesn't, then I don't think I'll get it. Because if I have to ship it over from the US, it may be a bit too expensive for me. So if, like, I could get it from the US if I want to, because the palette is $20, so it means that it's under the legal limit of what we are allowed to import, so you wouldn't have to pay for customs. But if the shipping is outrageously expensive, then it just wouldn't make any sense, because it just wouldn't make it as affordable anymore. Becca is also coming out with a Pearl Glow collection. Seems to come with like a new, is this a highlighter? Pearl Glow powder. So yeah, this looks stunning. It looks like a shell with a pearl inside it, which I think is very cleverly packaged. And it also comes with an eyeshadow palette. No. Like, the palette is super boring. Like, there's like 4 shades that look almost identical. No, wait, 6. Like 6 shades that are pretty much identical, and that highlighter or powder product seems way too dark. Then another release by Sample Beauty. I just talked about some Sample Beauty products in my most recent 10 palettes I tried video, saying that I did really like the quality of those shadows in the end. And Sample Beauty is coming out with the Equalizer palette, and the idea behind this is that you get the same shades in a matte as well as in a shimmer, which I think is really clever. I just found that the shimmers in the Sample Beauty palette that I tried weren't very shimmery. So the contrast between a matte and a shimmer in the brand, from what I've tried, wasn't very strong, but it does have a couple of really, really fun, really bright shades. Not something I'm currently really into. I'm really noticing that I want to go back to trying more neutrals again and wearing neutrals again. So something like this, I'm really currently digging at the moment. This is the Besame Snow White lipstick, in case you're wondering, and I'm wearing Urban Decay Naked Honey on my eyes. And then last but not least, the last thing I want to talk about is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Hydrating Foundation. So earlier this year, Maybelline released like what everybody was saying was like a dupe for IT Cosmetics. This may actually be a dupe for IT Cosmetics, I think, because that one was a bit more matte and this is supposed to be radiant and hydrating. It's supposed to launch on November the 15th. Whether that means that it's going to launch globally on the 15th, I don't know. So I hope it does. And I hope that we get a good shade range and that there's a shade for me, because I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for this, because if it says Radiant, Hydrating, Liquid Foundation, and it's by Maybelline, I usually like their foundations, then I'm all ears. So I'm hoping it's going to come out. It's currently available for pre-order on Amazon, apparently. Only the US Amazon though. I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. So here's the hoping, fingers crossed, that this is going to come to Europe soon, because that would be lovely. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know in a comment down below if there's anything that you are hoping to get, especially with all of these holiday releases coming out. It's very tempting. So I'm trying to rein myself in and try to not get too much. But yeah, I just came back from New York, so I have plenty of makeup to play with at the moment. So that's why I'm a little on the fence about getting too much this time round in terms of like new releases. You know that about me. I hardly ever buy a product the minute it is released. Like, I have to be super duper enthusiastic. I mainly just like put it in a Word file and then like months later I'll check it out again, whether it's still available, and then try to get it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. See you in my next video. Bye! I